this looks like a crazy high-speed car chase through the towns and villages of this part of Java, but in fact we're following a car carrying a charismatic young preacher on his way to give a rally to his supporters. In the decades since democracy began here, Indonesians have sought spiritual guidance from many places. Everyone's told me about one young Muslim cleric who has combined charisma and liberal preaching to find a huge audience across the archipelago. Ustad Jeffrey speaks directly to so many liberal Muslims here. His goal, to help people live their lives in an Islamic way. Charm, a promise of hope, and some simple rules for day-to-day life. It has all made him a huge star. Some call his teachings too simplistic, but everywhere his fans point to the opposite. This is nothing like I was expecting, and I have never seen anything like this in the Arab Muslim world. It's sort of a combination of pop star performance, it's also a part sort of Islamist revival meeting, and it's a charismatic speaker telling people how to live their lives in a better way.
Ya, saya kira itu untuk bahasanya lebih mudah dicerna gitu ya. Kelihatan kalau orangnya itu ya ilmiah gitu, berpikirnya cara menyampaikan mudah diterima, itu rasanya enak gitu ya. Humornya juga ada gitu. Iya.
Orangnya baik, wibawa, cakep. Saya perlu 5 orang. Gaul lah, kalau sama bisa bahasa remaja gitu.
Well, he's leaving. He's got to go to another event. I was hoping to interview him, but I'm going to just try and get in the car with him to grab 5 minutes before his next event. As you can tell, he's extremely popular.
Right down, right down.
How did you start in this?
Pesan yang disampaikan itu lebih kepada the young generation, karena memang saya berpikir bahwa syubbanul yaum rijalul ghad. Pemuda hari ini mereka akan menjadi pemimpin yang akan datang, the leader for the next time. Jadi betapa pentingnya membangun, membina yang muda, memahami mereka, bicara dengan bahasa mereka, sehingga ya bahwa agama itu bukannya sesuatu yang berat.
There were a lot of young people at your rally. What kind of Islam do they want? Are some of them, do you think, being drawn towards more militant Islam? What kind of Islam do young Indonesians want?
Itu kan sebuah proses pencarian. Saya pikir semua orang punya hak untuk mencari apapun dengan caranya gitu kan. Atau pada akhirnya mereka berujung pada satu komitmen, oh saya harus memutuskan pada satu hal gitu. Saya cuma ingin menawarkan bahwa inilah Islam gitu kan. Penuh dengan belas kasih gitu kan, penuh dengan toleransi gitu kan, tapi juga punya keyakinan bahwa qul huwallahu ahad.
Ustad Jeffrey's vision of a tolerant Islam is what so much of Indonesia has been embracing for centuries. I'm invited to a wedding in the Javan city of Solo, a chance to see how centuries of migration have created a unique form of Islam here. I've been to many weddings, but for the first time in my life, I'm allowed into the women's pre-wedding celebrations, what we call in England a hen night. This is a classic Indonesian hen night, and it is fantastic fun. And the amazing thing is, although the family are descended from Yemenis, you have to understand that they are typical of the overwhelming majority of Muslims in this country. There are no stigmas here. This Muslim wedding is an example of just how inclusive this faith can be. The next day is the main event. More than 1,000 guests gather to see the bride Bahija and the groom Rifki marry. Another generation of Yemeni Indonesian trading families is bound together. everyone, including the groom's uncles, are proud of Indonesia's religious tolerance. Tell me about the wedding. You know, it's my first time to an Indonesian wedding.
The wedding tradition inspired by the Indonesian culture and also the Muslim culture and also the small Arabic culture. Yeah, because this wedding is based on the Islamic values and also the traditional. And as you see, the custom of the dress, Western style. Western style. So there are many cultures here. We combine to get the best.
Both of you have traveled, especially in many Muslim countries, outside Indonesia, in the Middle East. You live in Saudi Arabia. The Islam here is very open, isn't it, in Indonesia?
Islam in Indonesia is very open. And Islam is the best in Islam in Indonesia.
Across the country, in every province I have been to so far, the dominant message is one of tolerance. But at the same time, nobody can ignore the growth of political Islam in public life today. So what's going on? Who or what is responsible? Thousands of Indonesians went abroad in the 80s and 90s to fight. Many were suspected of belonging to JI. In the mountains of Afghanistan, Indonesia provided some of the most celebrated warriors. One of the most renowned fighters was Nasir Abbas, a commander who fought against the Russians. Abbas trained with many of the suspected JI members at large today, but he fell out with the movement over attacks on civilians. He believes fighting in self-defense is justified, but never against the innocent. He now works for the government, urging JI members, as he says, to return to the right path of Islamic teaching. How big do you think JI is now?
It's difficult to say. Difficult to say.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're not talking about an organization that is many thousands strong, or possibly it could be like that.
It's possibly can be because there's main GI members, and then there's supporters, and there's sympathizers. So all of these are has a link.
You go to many other countries and you find Islamist movements. You know, they know that the Quran doesn't say about violence and things like that, but they do it.
They do it,
and they do it against the Christians in their own country and the other non-Muslims. Why do you think Indonesians find that unacceptable and is not part of their culture? Why do you think that is?
Why can I say that? Because of the moderate, Muslim, many people are doing is preaching, dawah, and explain to the others Muslim that the violence is it's not Islamic, it's not Islamic teaching. So it was been explained to most of the people in this country, and they also always asking people to be tolerant to each other.
At a nearby cafe, Abbas and his ex-brothers in arms agreed to talk to me about what's happening now in Indonesia. These men risked their lives fighting for Islam, but when they returned to Indonesia, they realized they could not kill their own. What do you want? Do you want to see an Islamic government here or an Islamic state? What do you want?
Kami ini ingin Indonesia ini sebagai negara Islam, tapi bukan karena berperang gitu. Kan pertama dengan dakwah.
Kalau di Afghanistan itu kan medannya medan perang dia, artinya memang vital perang. Sedangkan kita di Indonesia itu tidak. Jadi saya berubah pikiran, artinya memang jihad itu harus dilaksanakan, tapi tidak sebagaimana apa yang pernah terjadi di Afghanistan.
Do you really believe that the JI now is a spent force? The government says the JI is almost destroyed. Do you think that's right?
Kalau menurut kami, JI itu sudah tidak bisa lagi naik ke permukaan karena sudah istilahnya sudah jatuh. Popularitasnya sudah jatuh. Jadi tidak seperti yang dulu-dulu.
But also at the table is Farahin, whose commitment to and belief in JI remains strong, despite having been jailed twice. To understand exactly how far his commitment reaches, I arranged to meet him at a bookshop to talk further. All around me are books and pamphlets that are basically a call to arms. 10 years ago, printing this would have had you thrown into jail. Show me what kind of books there are on sale here.
Paling terkenal di toko ini adalah buku yang membangkitkan semangat jihad.
And these books are popular. People are buying these books. More and more.
This store, ini toko ini ciri khasnya menjual buku-buku ini macam ini buku jihad.
I asked Farahin to outline his vision for the future of jihad as he sees it in Indonesia.
Sejak awal juga JI adalah punya program salah satunya dakwah wal jihad. Ya sekarang ini tetap yang dilakukan itu dakwah wal jihad sambil menyusun kekuatan untuk pembangunan kekuatan, pembangunan kepemimpinan.
The amazing thing is you don't seem embarrassed or unwilling to profess your membership of this organization, and also you're very proud of still waging jihad.
Dalam Islam itu adalah berjamaah itu suatu kewajiban. Kenapa saya memilih JI? Karena merasa cocok jamaah JI itu dengan ideologi saya gitu.
But you want to see an Islamic republic, a caliphate?
Ya, itu cita-cita. Bagian dari cita-cita.
I wonder, however, just how realistic an Islamic state really is in this culturally complex nation. There seem to be hugely differing beliefs here. No one identity of Islam exists. And this complexity itself seems to stem from the fall of the Suharto regime.